Hey everyone, buckle up. We're diving headfirst into the wild world of PC hardware. Got a stack of news from TechSpace today, and let's just say things are heating up.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking new CPUs from AMD, a motherboard that's breaking speed limits, and even some early rumors about NVIDIA's next graphics card.
Sounds juicy.
Juicy is an understatement. First up, AMD's about to drop the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D CPU. 8 cores, clock speeds up to 5.2 gigahertz.
Okay.
This thing's aiming straight for the top spot, going head-to-head with Intel's best, launching any day now, too.
And they're really pushing their 3D V-cache technology with this one.
Right, which is, like, layman's terms, what does that even mean for gamers?
Simply put, imagine giving your CPU a massive speed boost just for gaming. Smoother performance, higher frame rates, the works.
Music to my ears.
But
There's always a but, isn't there?
it usually is, yeah.
The price tag on this bad boy and on AMD's X3D CPUs in general is, how do I put this delicately?
Climbing.
Yeah, climbing's one way to put it. Especially that 7800X 3D. Oof, what's the deal with that? You got any insights? Well, a few things come to mind. First off, demand for high-performance CPUs. Through the roof right now.
Sure.
Then you've got those lingering supply chain issues everyone's been talking about, not helping. And on top of that, AMD's probably gearing up for those Zen 5X 3D chips everyone's whispering about. So, classic supply and demand, but with a little extra spice for good measure.
Makes you wonder if building a high-end PC is going to become like a luxury hobby only a select few can afford. But hey, let's not dwell on the doom and gloom. Let's talk about something even more mind-blowing, shall we? ASRock, they've got the Z890 Taichi OCF motherboard.
Right.
This thing is an absolute beast.
Use it ever.
It just hit a memory speed of 10,133 MTs. I mean, come on, that's just absurd.
I know, right? It's like the sound barrier of data transfer speeds, gone. Poof.
I can't even imagine the kind of performance boost that translates to.
Imagine, like, loading games in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Or transferring huge files instantly. That's the kind of speed we're talking about.
Okay, so that gets a sign me up for me. But let's be real. Are we talking about tech that's actually accessible to, the average person? Or is this just for the hardcore tech wizards out there?
Good point. Look, hitting those peak speeds usually takes some serious hardware and know-how.
Yeah.
But this is bigger than just one motherboard. This is a sign of where things are headed. Faster, more powerful PCs for everyone.
I am here for it. But speaking of pushing the boundaries, we got to talk about NVIDIA. The rumor mill is churning, my friend. RTX 5090, what have you heard? Spill the tea.
Okay, so full disclosure, this is all whispers and speculation at this point.
For sure.
But we're hearing rumblings of 32 gigabytes of VRAM. 32, that's more VRAM than some PCs have RAM.
I can't even. Okay, keep going.
Plus, the core count is supposedly insane. Way more than anything we've seen before.
This thing is going to be an absolute monster. But, and there's always a but, what about the price? All that power can't come cheap, right?
You know, NVIDIA, they like to push the envelope. And that usually means pushing the limits of our wallets, too. We'll have to see what they unveil at CES 2025.
Whew. I need to take a breath after all that. CPUs hitting 5 gigahertz, motherboards becoming teleporters. It's almost too much to handle.
Tell me about it. And we're just getting started. Wait till we see what CES 2025 brings.
Oh, I'm counting down the days. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we got to talk about AMD's other big release, the Ryzen 9 9950X 3D, rumored to drop early next year, and the hype train's already left the station. What's the word on the street about this one?
Well, if the rumors are true, and that's a big if at this point, the 9950X 3D is going to give Intel a serious run for its money.
More cores, more speed, more power.
You got it. They're really building on the success of the previous generation, pushing everything to the max. But, not everyone needs a CPU that can, like, edit a Hollywood blockbuster while playing chess against a supercomputer.
True, true. Some people just need a solid, reliable workhorse for everyday stuff, right?
Exactly. And luckily, AMD's got options for everyone. They're mid-range, even so they're entry-level CPUs. Those are great for browsing, working on documents, that kind of thing.
No need to crack open the champagne and caviar when a good old-fashioned sandwich will do, right? Speaking of finding the right tool for the job, what's the story on this new graphics card we've been hearing about, the AMD Radeon RX 7650 GRE?
Ah, yes. This one's interesting because it's not trying to compete with the big boys like that rumored RTX 5090. This one's more budget-friendly, using their existing Navi 33 GPU architecture, which you also find in the RX 7600 XT, for instance.
So more of a refresh than a revolution.
Yeah, kind of like breathing new life into existing tech.
Hmm.
It's a smart move because it lets AMD keep costs down, making it a great option for gamers who are, watching their wallets.
Gotta love a good value proposition.
Mm.
But here's the catch. I heard this RX 7650 GRE is going to be a limited release, mostly for the Chinese market.
Yeah, that's the rumor. Interesting strategy.
Mm.
Could be a way for AMD to test the waters before a global launch.
Yeah?
Or maybe they're targeting a specific demand they're seeing over there.
Makes you wonder what other tricks they have up their sleeves. But, with all this talk about faster CPUs, bigger GPUs, motherboards that seem to defy the laws of physics, it makes you wonder what's driving this need for speed in the PC world. Is it just bragging rights, or is there something deeper going on?
That's a great question. I mean, on the surface, yeah, it's about faster loading times, smoother gameplay, a more responsive computing experience overall. But it goes beyond just the individual user.
Oh, I'm all ears.
Think about it. It feels like artificial intelligence, data science. These are areas that require massive amounts of data to be processed insanely fast.
Right.
And all these advancements we're seeing in PC hardware, especially in memory and processing power, they're what's driving those breakthroughs. So while we might get excited about the latest gaming tech, these advancements have implications far beyond our entertainment.
Wow, that puts things in perspective. It's easy to get caught up in our little bubble and forget about the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it really highlights how interconnected technology has become. We're not just talking about faster PCs. We're talking about potentially groundbreaking advancements in medicine, scientific research, you name it.
My mind is officially blown. It's like we're on the cusp of a technological renaissance, all thanks to these tiny little chips and circuits.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure. And it makes you wonder.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What's next? What kind of crazy tech is being cooked up right now?
Right. It's exciting to think about.
It is, and I feel like we keep saying this, but there's always a but, right?
Always.
We can't just get caught up in the hype of faster, more powerful, gotta have the latest and greatest. There's more to it than that.
Absolutely. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement, but we have to be mindful, about the bigger picture.
What are we creating? What are the consequences? Those are questions we can't ignore.
Exactly. With great power, right?
Yeah.
There's a responsibility that comes with it. We're talking about shaping the future.
Pressure, right? But seriously, this is where I love these conversations. We get to geek out about the tech, but also really think about what it all means.
It's a balance. We need both that enthusiasm, that drive for innovation, and that awareness, that responsibility for what we're bringing into the world.
Well said. So to wrap things up, I think it's safe to say we've covered a lot today.
Yeah.
New CPUs battling for the top spot, motherboards bending the laws of physics, rumors of graphics cards that'll melt our faces. I mean, come on.
And we even managed to squeeze in some philosophy along the way.
Right. The future of computing, our role in it, the ethical implications, it's all connected. But before we sign off, I got to ask you one last question. We've talked about this constant push for more power, more speed, more everything, but what happens when we hit a wall? When the laws of physics say, nope, this is it, you've reached the limit, what then?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Will we find a way to break through, redefine what's possible?
Or will we need a whole new approach? A completely different way of thinking about computing. It's both exciting and a little bit daunting, don't you think?
Definitely. But hey, that's the beauty of it, right? The unknown, the possibility.
That's what keeps us coming back for more. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap things up. Big thanks to you for joining me on this wild ride through the world of PC hardware. And to all our listeners out there, keep those CPUs cool, keep those GPUs firing, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.